This is Ukraine's border with Poland. That's what it looked like in the second week of the Russian invasion. A vast column of Ukrainian refugees trying to get to safety. It wasn't a surprise to see this. Millions of Ukrainians have fled. What surprised me was the traffic going in. People waiting for hours to get across the border into a war zone. I joined that traffic jam one day in early March.
Simon was stuck here
while reporting on the flood of humanitarian aid flowing into Ukraine from around the world. Along the way, I met this volunteer named Gennady, who's a playwright from Berlin, who drove me in an old Belgian ambulance. Volunteers from the Netherlands had donated it, and we got to drive it into Ukraine. It was part of an aid convoy that gathered in eastern Poland, inside a cluttered old mechanic shop where about a dozen vans were loaded up with whatever they could carry. Boxes and boxes of food, diapers, sleeping bags, some clothes for Ukrainian soldiers. Someone had even donated a carpet for some reason. It took us about 8 hours to get across the border into Ukraine. At one point along the way, we got a call from CNN in Atlanta.
The aid that we have here in the back of the ambulance is, medical supplies, first aid kits, surgical supplies.
Once you get across, the roads open up a bit. There hasn't been much destruction to civilian areas here in the western part of Ukraine, but there are plenty of reminders of the war. Ukrainians have changed some of the road signs in anticipation of Russian tanks. This one says, f off again, off back to Russia. At night, there are often air raid sirens blaring. By day, President Zelensky's speeches come on the radio. After about a day of fits and starts, the convoy finally got to Kiev, and the aid was distributed. The old ambulance, stocked with medical supplies, got to a Ukrainian hospital that needed them.
Были такие времена, когда мы сидели целую ночь в укрытии, это ужасно. Это была очень тяжелая ночь, потому что мы могли реально потерять детей. Но, слава Богу, выжили, вышли из укрытия, организовываемся, поддерживаем друг друга. Спасибо волонтерам и вам в том числе за то, что вы, рискуя, наверное, своей жизнью, все-таки стараетесь нам помочь доставить гуманитарные грузы, которые очень нужны сейчас.
After that, the volunteers headed back toward Poland to pick up more boxes of aid. Then they got ready to make the trip all over again. It's probably their best chance of helping Ukraine stay alive.